Now we're going to look at the Vedic astrology chart for Aretha Franklin. And if you were to look to the eastern horizon on March 25th, 1942, at 22 hours and 30 minutes in Memphis, Tennessee, you would see the constellation um, associated with Libra rising at 22 degrees. This 22 degrees rising it becomes the most effective point of every house. And any planet that is within 5 degrees of 22 degrees, like Jupiter um, or Moon, has great impact in this chart. We know that Libras have a lot of successful partnerships. They're very creative. They make great entertainers. She was the queen of soul. Um, We're going to look at how the planets are operating and when they're operating, and what could have been done to improve the aspects of the chart. So first, we look at if any of the planets are functional malefic. That means any multicorner sign 1, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 11 falls in the 6th, 8th, or the 12th house. So we see in the 12th house the 6th sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Mercury becomes functional malefic for this chart, as well as Rahu and Ketu for every chart. So Sun is at 11 degrees. It's ruling the house of income, friendships, and fulfillment of desires. Um, it's very strong and well placed in her chart, and it is in the house of health issues and delays, disputes. Now, Sun brings income through Sun is leadership. It's associated in her case with the music industry. Moon is at 24 degrees, again close to the most effective point, and it is in her chart. It's also very strong. Oh wait, Sun is not strong and well placed. It's very weak. So yeah, it's placed in the 6th house, a Dustana house, so can affect health, etc. So Moon is, however, strong and well placed, but it is afflicted by Ketu. Moon is mother, compassion, home life, and emotions and mind. So it's placed in the house of good fortune, ruling the house of career. So gave her emotional, her ability to convey her emotions through singing and music was very powerful. But mom, because it's afflicted by K2, you have sudden happenings. Mom left, her mother left when she was very young in 1948. Um, Mars is at 18 degrees, which is also within 5 degrees of the most effective point. It is ruling the house of partnerships and relationships, um, and it is placed in Dustana house, the 8th house of vulnerability. So it gave her great courage. She was a political activist in terms of the civil rights movement and the women's movement. Um, but it, again, was afflicted by K2. So um, created some issues for her. Now, it is also conjunct with Jupiter. Jupiter is blessed by Mars. Now, so Jupiter's husband and children. She was blessed with husband, a couple of husbands, I think, and some children. Um, Gave her ability to teach through her singing. So she published lots and lots of songs. Mercury, remember, is functional malefic. It's close to the most effective point, and it's conjunct K2 um, in this house of children, education, and investments. So Mercury has to do with losses, expenses, separations, imprisonment, letting go of attachments for spiritual growth. So, and it afflicts children and income. So, her kids all had problems, some problems. Um, Venus is at 27 degrees. Now, any planet that's more than 25 degrees or less than 5 degrees becomes weak because in adolescence or old age, you can't protect or promote your own signification. So, Venus is ruling the house of life purpose and longevity, gave her good longevity. Um, and recognition through performing arts. It also has to do with pancreas, so she actually died of pancreatic cancer. Um, so Saturn is at 1 degree, very weak, and it is ruling this house of children and education and investments. It had a lot to do with her ability to be of service to the civil rights movement and the women's rights movement. Rahu and Ketu, they're placed. Ketu gives spiritual desire for spiritual. She was um, noted for her gospel singing and started out in the church. Rahu gives desire for fulfillment of desires and income and friendships. She was a wonderful friend to many and will be missed sorely. We wish well her friends and family. Now they afflicts the partnerships, so some issues with partnerships. So she died of pancreatic cancer August 16, 2018 during a Saturn subperiod. Remember, Saturn also longevity, weak, and Sun also health. So that kind of makes sense. If we look at the transit chart at the time of death, 16th, we see that let's see, 22 degrees. Jupiter is close to the rising sign degree, and Jupiter has to do with communication, ability to communicate. It's in this first house. It's transiting the first house, and it's afflicted by Mercury. So again, separation, death-like experiences. And at the same time, Mars and K2 are fairly close in the house of happiness and home life, and Mercury and Rahu are fairly close in the house of Dharma. So yeah, so what could be done to strengthen this chart? So Mercury needs to be transformed since it's functional malefic. So helping children, and I think she probably did a lot of that in her lifetime, is a way to transform the functional malefic qualities of Mercury. And Rahu and Ketu, feeding birds, helping spiritual organizations. She did that as well. The other thing you could do is strengthen Sun, Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus with a gavash, which is a locket containing the yantras for each of those planets, especially Venus, since it had to do with the pancreas. And Those are the main things. Cancer really has to do with several different things. Um, Rahu is partially the culprit there. So that's it for Aretha Franklin. If you would like a reading, you can go to vastucreations.com under services. If you would like to learn Transformation Vedic Astrology, a very simple, quick way to analyze charts, you can go to AmericanInstituteOfVastu.com. Aretha Franklin.